Welcome to today's video, guys, and today we are going to be checking out a Ben Shapiro video, and a girl asks if Ben's speech incites violence. Let's get right into it, guys.
Do you feel that my speech could incite violence?
Well,
See the way he just grinned? He had to though, because it's
do you
like,
feel
come
that a
on,
lot of your speech could incite the same kind
it's
of
too
violence?
easy.
I mean, you heard
That
my
not
speech
offend
tonight. Do you feel that my speech could incite violence?
Well,
I mean that seriously. That's an honest question.
I know you're asking honestly. I feel that for me, as an individual, it isn't, but I could see how a lot of your points I really disagreed with. I literally have a list of
And that's
questions
fine. I
have
mean,
for
that's the good
you.
part, right? Where we disagree and we can have a conversation.
I just was wondering in terms of, and what I mean by inciting violence is encouraging the same people who believe in like your transphobic beliefs, even that like homophobia is a sin based on your religious beliefs. Do you believe that because of what you say, you can encourage a lot of people to act on those beliefs?
So I have a very strong standard with regard to incitement, and I'm very consistent about this. If I'm not telling somebody to commit violence, I'm not inciting them to violence. I've held the standard for Barack Obama when he was saying anti-police things, and then somebody went and shot up some police officers in Dallas. I said that's not Barack Obama's fault. When a Bernie Sanders supporter went and shot up a congressional baseball game, I said that's not Bernie Sanders' fault because Bernie Sanders wasn't calling for that. Political debate requires that you talk to people and people take your words as what they mean, not as an excuse to go and do violence. I've never called for violence, nor would I. As far as the idea that my words are some sort of attack, a violent attack, for example, on folks who are transgender, my view—
I'm not saying
I know, but
attack.
I'm responding to the people who are not you who might say that. Okay? So the idea that I am transphobic, for example, this is a bizarre kind of attack in the sense that I don't know that I've ever exhibited phobia of trans people. I'm not afraid of trans people.
Well, transphobia is more along the lines of prejudice against the trans.
So I actually think that your first characterization was right. I think that transphobia is really disagreement with the basic principle that the trans community is trying to purvey, which is that people's sex is malleable, that people can move from male to female, and that it is my job, objectively, to now call them the name they wish to be called, and to teach my children that men can be women and women can be men. I fundamentally disagree with that point. Now, with that said, is everybody in the United States entitled to the same rights? Of course, but your right does not extend to forcing me to call you what you want me to call you. That's not the way this works. That violates my freedom of speech. So in interpersonal relationships, if I were out to dinner with a trans person, would I make a point of noting their proper biological sex?
True.
No, because that would be impolite. When I'm talking about the general principle of is a man a woman or is a woman a man, the answer is I will say that a man is a man and a woman is a woman and a he is a he and a she is a she. And if I'm in a public debate with somebody, I will say the same thing.
Yep. Thank you. At the end of the day, like, he might disagree, or anyone might disagree with like trans or anyone that's different in any way, yeah, like it doesn't mean that like it isn't in a calm way. Like everyone likes, like there's a lot of people that just like to take any disagreement as like just being like hostile and all of that, like when it's just normal for a lot of people to disagree or like just have different points of view. It's just very normal. Like we're in this mad world, man. Let's do this.
I do want to clarify that when I meant I wasn't trying to say disagreement. I was relating it to the same definition of homophobia, which is prejudice, or I tried to say discrimination.
Right. So I think that again, homophobia. There are some people who actively want to do violence to people who are gay. Right. I mean, those people are not me or anybody that I agree with. Obviously, I've never at any point in my entire career ever advocated violence. God forbid, against anybody in a civilized society. That's not something that I believe in, and I think it's evil. As far as I think again, your original definition of transphobia actually is better applied here as well. I think it's disagreement with certain principles that the homosexual community wishes to espouse.
What I was saying was that's not what I was. Instead
I know,
of
and I'm saying that I agree with your
means.
original definition and not your definition. So the definition that you made.
No, I'm not saying it's mine. It's one that I like Googled that I found.
Right. So, and I think that definition is wrong, and I think that the one that you Freudian slipped was right. Is what I'm saying.
So I'm saying based on like the institution of, I don't want to say the institution of Google because that's an extremely general thing.
He's basically just saying, don't go against your natural, like, come on, you're gonna go with what people are gonna naturally be saying, he, she, and all of these different things. Like, so when people are trying to force other people to do all of that, it's too much, bro. It's just too much to ask for people. Like, if you want to ask one person at a time that is your friend and all of that, that's okay. But you know, for you to literally force it with like all sorts of people, that it's just a long thing. Still, it's not worth it.
But in terms of as soon as you search transphobia, homophobia, this is what comes up.
Right, and I
Do you
think,
feel like even though you're disagreeing with transphobia, with the trans community, which I believe we all have our own disagreements, I'm asking, do you feel that the fact that with your disagreement, you're inherently, through the institutions that have provided these definitions, discriminating against trans community?
and I'm saying,
thus encouraging other people to follow.
So
I know
here's
it's a long
what,
question, but I had to
That's fine.
encapsulate a lot of
So
things.
here's what I'm saying. I disagree with either their definition is wrong or it's overly broad in its application.
Okay.
So if the idea is that if I say a man is a man and a woman is a woman is inherently transphobic, that's not discrimination, that's disagreement.
Yep.
If they say that's discrimination, they're overly applying their own
I
label.
think when you say like they're mentally ill, like that
Well,
gives off it.
And just before I hear Ben's point on what she just said on how they're mentally ill, I just want to let people know that, like, some cases I personally think it is a bit of mental illness. Some people mistaken feminine energy for being a female. Some females mistaken masculine energy for being males and stuff like that, because of a lot of stereotypes and the social climates that some of them might be through school, through work, family, stuff like that. And it's understandable, but like at the end of the day, it's beneficial to like keep the facts, like males, females. Like, of course there's cases, extremely rare cases, people born with all sorts of different genitalia and all sorts of stuff, but at the end of the day, that doesn't seem to be all the cases that they're talking about. Like, there's a lot, it's becoming very common how a lot of kids are like going into trying to transition and all of these things, and it's like they're probably just going through a phase. It's almost like they forget that phases is a thing.
I've said, and I will continue to maintain, that gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder, whichever DSM you choose to use, is a mental illness. That is, and again, God forbid that it should be said with any animus, because this is not said with animus. When people are suffering, these are clearly folks who are suffering. When people are suffering, you shouldn't be saying stuff with animus. I'm not saying that as a gotcha to people who are transgender. The point that I'm making is that when a society begins treating folks who have mental illness as though they are representing an objective reality, they are doing no service to the people who actually suffer from a mental illness. My grandfather suffered from schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. He was institutionalized. If the doctors had said to him, Nate, you're fine, we believe that the radio is actually talking to you, that is not a service to him. That would have been terrible for him. Right? They put him in an institution, they gave him lithium, and it helped. Now, I'm not saying there's even a great solution for folks who have gender identity disorder or gender dysphoria, because the solutions that I've seen, including transgender surgery, are not intensely effective from all the studies that I've seen. It's a tragic situation. But the solution is not to redefine as a society what sex means along anti-biological lines. As far as the homophobia point, it's my own religious belief about the sinful nature of particular people's behavior should have no impact on how you act in a free country or how you think. It's a free country. Do what the hell you want.
Exactly. Paul, that was a banging video, and he had a lot of good points, and the way he just communicates it as well, he's just like, he's being very friendly with it as well, because there's a lot of people that when they give like their opinion, like they're gonna shit on everyone else's opinion like brutally, like coming with personal attacks and all sorts. And I like the way that Ben is like being, you know, sympathetic at the same time, because it can't be easy for him to be talking about, you know, his uncle or relative. I think it's uncle, sorry, but yeah, like with schizophrenia. So yeah, that was a banging video. But yeah, guys, smash the like if you like the video, comment down below on what you think, and yeah, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye, guys.